So now that I kind of fancy myself as a YouTube bodyman expert, I figured I'd go ahead and pass along all of the knowledge that I have accrued over the years of watching YouTube and doing things on my own, as I'm going to show you guys how we're going to take these doors from this to the new and improved doors like this, using nothing more than just these basic tools right here. So the most important tool in any good bodyman's toolbox is this. All right, I know, I caved. We bought new doors. So if you remember in the old videos of working on the doors of this truck, I was struggling pretty hard trying to weld on those lower door skins and getting those things correct. For the most part, I got them pretty good. But once I really got to analyzing those doors and looking at them, and the hinge pockets and the hinge braces and everything were rusty pretty good, I got to talking to my sister-in-law, and she's like, why don't we just get new doors for it? Would that save you a lot of time? And I said, yes, it would. So I got online and really started to do a lot of research. Which ones are good ones, which ones are bad ones. So after reading a bunch of different opinions and whatnot, I stumbled across Quality Classic Parts over in California. They happen to produce some extremely high quality reproduction doors for these trucks. So we went ahead and ordered a set, and that was over a year ago that I ordered these doors because I was working on the COE at the time. All right, so there's the doors, and these things are extremely nice. These are probably the nicest reproduction doors I've ever seen. Now these things are stamped on the door jamb with all the recesses here, just like the factory. A lot of the aftermarket ones that I have seen do not have this. And the patch panels that I actually bought as well, the lower patch panels, do not have these either. So that was one thing that was kind of bothering me about that, was none of this stuff was going to match properly. But as you can see, everything is installed. All the threaded inserts for all the door latches and hinges and door panel assembly, everything is in here. Even the rear view mirrors and the front side of the doors as well. All the stampings are correct. And even the cover plates, how it's all recessed in here for the hinge cover plate as well, that's all correct. They are all pre-drilled for all of the weather stripping. And it has a really nice primer on it. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Definitely seems to be a very good quality primer. Let's see if it's on its own weight. Yes, okay. Way up. That. It's gotta go up and in. That's gotta go more. That's better. Oh. Snug those things up, I guess. That's better. Where's it hitting? It's hitting somewhere. Hitting on the bottom? The front, back, side? Oh, it's right here, I think. Yeah, it's hitting that right there, okay. But that gap is pretty good. Yeah, it's just hitting right here on the body. See the mark, paint mark right there. Looks like the door's gotta go up though. Okay, I jacked with it just a little bit more and I've got it close. So just closing it. I've got it off the body there. It's not contacting this anymore up here. So we're good there. Body lines are lined up pretty good. Got a decent gap across the top. Gap down the sides, looks pretty good. It's not bad. That body line lines up really good. I mean, it does in person. It's probably hard to tell in camera. And then the rest of the way down, it looks pretty good. It's a little wide down there at the bottom, but I can fix that. And then it is hitting up here in the corner of the door when you shut it. It's hitting right there. Just a little bit, and it's flexing in the door. So the bottom of that door, I need to get some shims in behind that hinge to push the door outward, is what it looks like, because I have no other adjustment. These are just up and down, it looks like. And then these are in and out. And then down the side of it, man, it looks really good. That's not bad at all. It looks like they fit pretty darn good. And again, this corner does kind of curl in a little bit too much, but that's just going to be a matter of pulling the bottom of the door out. But for just a really rough fitment, man, that's pretty darn good. A lot of these trucks I see, I read a lot of things about these trucks, and people have an absolute nightmares trying to get the body panels aligned on these trucks properly. I think these trucks, this generation, is even worse than my cab over. So yeah, my COE, as rusty as it was, I got the door gaps on that thing pretty darn good. And a lot of these trucks, when I see them at car shows and whatnot, the door gaps, especially when the door's closed, they usually stick out real far, and the fitment's kind of terrible. But these doors, so far, wow, very impressed. That's cool. So I'm not really anticipating anything major on the driver's side. I got to get this cab off and get it sandblasted or dipped. There's a company here in town that does do chemical dipping. I've been trying to call them now for a few days, and they don't answer the phone. They do have a thing online as far as filling out a form to request a quote to get this thing dipped. I'm just going to dip the cab only for right now, because I want to get it stripped and then just get it hit with epoxy primer. What do you guys recommend for that, by the way, when I get this thing down to bare metal, if I either dip it or sandblast it? From what I'm reading and everybody's telling me is just to hit this thing with epoxy primer and get it sealed up right away, of course. Or is there anything else I should use instead? Epoxy primer seems to be the go-to. All right, time for clutch bolt hell. Let's see if this works or we're cutting them off. All right, let's do it backwards here. All right, if you just hold them, it works. Good grief. Clutch bolts. Making reasonable men do unreasonable things since 1942. However long they've been around. These things are a nightmare. Pretty much all I'm gonna use off of this bed. The rest of it I'm not gonna use. Looking at the fenders, they look really good. Mating surfaces and everything are good and clean. Definitely nothing like the cab over, that's for sure. Big difference between Arizona and Illinois. Body lines and everything in here look good. I don't see any, got a little ding there. Yeah, no, I don't see anything major. They look great. I can knock that out. We'll fix that. They didn't try to knock out any dents on this truck when I bought it. It was all in primer the way you see it, and they didn't try to knock anything out. They just mudded over everything. I can see all the Bondo cracking out of it right here. And then when you look from behind it here, it looks like they had a rack or something bolted on here. Instead of repairing this, they just filled it full of glass and Bondo. Same thing up here as well. There we go. All All right, boys. Sorry, not a longer video today. Honestly, I'm really struggling here lately. I don't know, physically, I've just been really tired, so I've been trying to take it easy and just kind of rest up because I know this thing's gonna be a through the summer project, and that's not gonna be fun as usual, but we'll get through it. Do me a favor. So, Stacy, my sister-in-law, the owner of this truck, she recently just had some surgery done, and it was a pretty significant surgery that she had done. I won't get into the details. Do me a favor and just tell her, you know, get well soon down below, something like that. But everything was fine. The surgery went really well. She's home, she's recovering, so hopefully she gets better really soon. All right, guys, I'm gonna try to just get my butt in gear here and get going on this thing. All right, let me go back in time here in a second. Let me give you a quick COE update. All right, there's your COE footage for the day. I got nothing to report. I've been driving it, haven't really done anything else to it. I've just been enjoying it lately. But now that it's starting to get hot, we're gonna have to figure out the air conditioning system. One thing I did do that I forgot to put in the last video was I did install the fire extinguisher that we found at the antique store. So that's kind of a nice little addition. Other than that, I've just been driving this thing back and forth to work and just trying to put miles on it. Everything's been fine so far. Yeah, so right now it is early March and we're already looking at 100-degree temperatures here in the valley, unfortunately. So I guess we're not having a spring. So as far as the AC system goes, I wanted to ask you guys, have any of you messed with those 12-volt AC systems? Now I know, don't get me wrong, I know having the compressor mounted to the engine and doing it the traditional way is the best way. But with this thing, it's gonna make for some very complicated AC lines because of where I have the engine, but not impossible. So I watched a whole bunch of videos on those 12-volt systems, and I'm aware of all of their faults, if you will, as far as, you know, you need to upgrade the alternator, all that type of thing. I understand all that. But I'm just wondering longevity-wise, how they hold up. Any of you guys installed any of those systems, and how do they work? From what I've read and watched, people seem to think they work pretty good. And I think especially with a cab this small, I think it'll be just fine. Truthfully, I really don't use the air conditioning all that much in the summer, believe it or not, even in my pickup truck. I like the heat, I don't mind it. Mainly, it's gonna be for the wife. So if it'll keep the wife cool, we'll be happy. I think one of the biggest things that I would like to do if I install one is have it completely separated from the truck. Since this truck has dual batteries, I have a nice deep cycle battery for the hydraulics for the lift. Then I also have a battery isolator as well to keep the two separated. And I was thinking if I put a 12-volt system in this thing, I will just go ahead and hook it up to the deep cycle battery and keep it separated from the truck itself. I do have a high output alternator on this thing as well, so that should help keep everything charged. I haven't seen any videos long-term on those systems, how they hold up and how they last. I think it'd be a good test being here in Arizona. I could definitely provide some good feedback, but in the meantime, we're gonna worry about that later. Now that you're all caught up with that as well, let me know down below what you guys think. If any of you have any experience again with those 12-volt systems. I'm gonna leave you right here. I hope you guys have a great week. Get out there, go work on your projects. Hopefully you guys are still moving right along on your stuff. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Have a great day. I'll see you on the next one.